And we're here. Hello, and welcome to our webinar, Global Classroom Inside the World of Online Learning. We're so glad to have you here. And so let's make sure that everything works fine. Hello, Amit. Can you hear me?
Yes, Angelina, I can. Thank you. And thank
Okay,
you for setting all this
wonderful.
up. Really looking forward to it.
All right, all right. So let's present ourselves. I'm Angelina, the International Sales Manager at Educate Online, and I'm thrilled to be your host for this session. With me is Amit, the CEO of India at Educate Online. And Amit's energy and insights are bound to make this session fun and enlightening. So, both of them.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, Angelina, and thank you for the pressure, but I'll try and do my best.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you will. So let's see what we are up to today. Today we dive into exciting world of online education, and we look at how it helps students break down barriers and chase their dreams. Amit has some amazing stories, real life stories of students who succeeded in preparation for university admissions through online programs. So you don't want to miss that. And we'll also discuss what a typical day looks like in an online school and how students effectively cope with their schedules, time management, and we'll, of course, address challenges like how to keep everyone engaged, how students master their time management, and how they create community. At the end of the webinar, we will be able to answer your questions. So please leave comments and the post in LinkedIn. And since there is so much fun to explore, let's get started. So let's do it this way. Okay. Amit, what are the most important benefits of online education for students and parents? And if you could provide some examples, it would be brilliant.
Sure. Online education, I know, I think for a lot of the world, online education happened thanks to COVID. And suddenly you had classroom thrust into Zoom calls and Google Meets and so on and so forth, where 40 students were actually sitting behind a computer screen trying to make sense of what was really happening. However, that's not what online education is. Online education goes way beyond than that, and therefore, if you see, most of our partners have made online education a very distinct channel of disseminating knowledge, and this has become more of an expertise, and they've been doing it for almost 2 decades now. It's not something that we've decided to do because there was COVID. Although that environment did help the acceptance rate go up quite significantly, but it's something that's always been there, and thanks to this environment, it's just become better and better. Coming to the advantages of online education, at times online education becomes a fantastic complementary product to regular offline education or schools or universities and so on, because the customization that ideally today we are looking in the new age for students, or the parents are wanting specific paths for their children, is not completely viable when it comes to offline or in-school education. To give you a quick example, let's assume there is one student in the entire class or in the entire school that wants to study a subject like marine biology. It won't be possible for the school to have a faculty that can offer marine biology. But if you kind of look at a democratic process where there are other people who come together from different classes or from different schools or from different levels who want to know more about marine biology, online education can play a very, very distinct role, keeping
Sure,
that
I'll
specific
agree.
pathway in mind. For parents, I think what it does is it keeps the feedback real time. It helps you measure progress far more efficiently. You don't have to wait for the end of the term for somebody to tell you how good you're doing. It keeps you disciplined. And Online education can use various formats of sharing knowledge, whether you are an audio visual learner or whether you are a textual learner or you're an experiential learner. It's something that can actually get implemented through the online format far more effectively than it can really happen in the offline format. And I'll take the example of India with about 30 to 40 students per classroom. It becomes very difficult for the teacher and the educator to basically be able to do justice to it.
Okay, thank you very much. It was quite a wide answer, and let's now concentrate on something that everyone really wonders. What does a typical day look like in an online school, and how do students plan their schedules?
Oh, wow. This is going to get wider than the last answer, but I'll try and make it succinct as possible. Uh, Online education is adopted by students in various formats. There are students that actually pick up online education as full-time schooling. There are students that study dual diploma with us. There are students that are looking at specific credits. So it really depends on what you're doing. The largest audience that we have currently is those who are following the dual diploma format. For them, this format of online education is not obtrusive at all. It does not disturb their regular studies. It does not disturb their extracurriculars, their sports pieces, their coaching classes, and whatever they're currently involved with. The idea is to spend that 10% extra effort on a global platform uh, to enhance your ability and your portfolio and your credibility for the recruitment teams of universities. And you can do that in your free time. So we've got students who during vacations do cover up a lot of curriculum. At the same time, when there's exam time or sometimes assignments and homeworks become a little overwhelming, they can kind of take a break. The asynchronous method of online learning gives you that flexibility and that comfort that you can do it based on your own thing. So that's what it actually looks like. For students who are doing this full time, even for them, it's not a strenuous method because a lot of global learning actually expects you to maybe spend 3 or 4 hours full time as well. And fortunately, online learning is also about experiential learning, and therefore it's not all screen time or what people assume online learning to be. And there are other pieces that also kind of based on instructional design that come into the format or the curriculum.
Okay, so since happens online too, could you explain what ways students communicate with their teachers in online learning and how often do they interact?
Of course, again, 2 or 3 formats. If you are a part of live classes, if you happen to choose that and you're doing full-time schooling online, then of course there is a consistent chat that's open with the classroom, not just with the teachers, but your peers and the other people in the classroom as well as your TAs or other support staff that's available to you. But for students who are actually doing dual diploma, there is tutor support that's available. So wherever they get stuck, there are help tools that are available. But if they really do want to speak to a faculty that's available 24/7, they can actually ping their faculty and set up a convenient time to even have a one-to-one conversation with the expert or the person actually conducting that specific session. So either ways, both are possible. The intensity is something that the parents and the students get to decide if they would want to go for a full-time online classroom, or would they want to go with tutor support, or would they want to go with intermittent tutorials. All 3 formats are possible depending on the comfort of the student and the comfort of the student on that specific topic or subject that he or she is going through.
Hmm. Looks like they really know what they do. So the logical
Yeah,
question is, what steps do they take, the schools, to maintain high education standards and meet accreditation requirements?
thank you. I think that's a great question, Nadina. We work with certified schools. The schools that we are working with are have all been around for maybe 2 decades plus, and therefore the curriculum or the compliance specific to boards have been achieved, and these are some of the best institutions in the world. As I said earlier, online learning is another methodology that these institutions are using to disseminate learning. You could basically use a method of one-to-one coaching. You could use a method of going to class physically, or you could use the online platform. And therefore, the curriculum, when it's developed, they use instructional design principle and the guidelines provided by the respective boards that the specific curriculum is a part of, whether it is OSST in Canada, or it's the US high school, or it's the Cambridge system, or IB. They make sure that the knowledge that's disseminated, as well as the evaluation of the student, is done as per the highest standards. Um, I might be being a little cavalier here in making this statement, but at times we've even had data come in from schools where the students studying online on certain subjects and certain curriculum have fared better than students coming to class. So
Wow,
that's how good it can get.
that's amazing. It sounds amazing. So, since both of us are really long in this industry, we know that every education brings some challenges. So, I was wondering, what are the challenges that students meet when they start their online education, and how can parents or maybe teachers, their tutors, support them? Um,
Uh, in specific, there aren't too many challenges to be honest. However, the challenges are as simple as any change can bring. Because we've been following the offline format for so many years. Therefore, any change in technology, it's almost like when the world moved from pages to mobile phones. You had an entire generation struggle with the phone, and now it seems like it's an extension of ourselves. So it's more like that. As I said earlier, an unfortunate thing like COVID actually sped up the transition. And today, whether it's parents or it's students, they find it quite conversant. It does take them maybe a few hours to become accustomed to the platform that they're learning on, and to understand the functionalities. And for that, we have a team available all the time to kind of just handhold them through the process. Other than that, as I said, we've got students who've come back and say that they really enjoy the process. There's one thing, however, that does become imminent over here, because that's something that's needed for students who are preparing for higher education, is it instills a sense of self-discipline, which is something that should come to students by the time they hit high school in any case. And that's something that's expected of students that are studying online.
Okay, thank you. And many students see exams as the main challenge. So, how is it all organized in online education, basically?
So, see, luckily for us, a lot of online learning that we're doing through very, very evolved systems. Whether you're doing the US high school diploma or you're doing OSSD from Canada. And therefore, a lot of times, uh, it's not an exam driven evaluation. Every subject is subject to what kind of assessment will actually be offered to the student. It could just be a white paper that the student submits at the end if it's a conceptual subject that they're going through. It could be a pop quiz. It could be an exam if you're doing a core subject. It could be group work. It could be a project. So I think what needs to change from a parent expectation point of view is everything is not examination based. Yes, you need to assess whether the learning has been finally, the whole concept has been understood, the learning has been disseminated. And for that, these are some very, very modern tools of assessment that are instilled into each subject and each topic separately. An exam is just a small part of it.
Hopefully. Sounds great. Okay. So, could you tell me a little bit about the programs that we have, and just like general directions, maybe what we can bring to the students?
Yeah, so for high school students, I think we've been talking significantly about it. It's very important to keep yourself flexible, because I think sometimes it becomes unfair to expect a 13, 14-year old student who's in grade 9, grade 10, and to expect them to really figure out right there and then what they would do for their higher education. Therefore, I think what we're offering them is a system where they can keep their options open, keep things flexible for themselves. they could have the opportunity of doing higher ed in their core domain country. In my case, they could actually do it in India, or at the same time simultaneously prepare for and be an ideal candidate for global education as well, so that they can actually compete with the world's best. And for that, there is an additional program that the high school students should go. From a nomenclature point of view, we call it the dual diploma. um, just to share with our audience, when you do grade 12 from any country, the global nomenclature that's used it's called a high school diploma. And therefore, we help Indian students do their while they're doing their high school diploma from school, to do a very small effort additionally and do a dual diploma from the US or the Canadian format, and therefore prepare yourself for higher education. This dual diploma, ideally, not always, basically expects students to do about 6 credits. These are additional credits from what you're earning in your school. And the advantage of doing these 6 credits is we could offer you these 6 credits out of maybe 200 subjects. Why these 200 subjects is you can actually make a early assessment of what the student or the parent want the student to do in their higher education. For example, we know a lot of people right now are inclined towards doing artificial intelligence. We kind of coax them to basically pick up an AI credit to find out whether this is what is something that they would enjoy doing in higher education, or do journalism, or do so many other subjects that you can actually study. We've got a lot of students who are non humanities students are picking up psychology as a subject. The other thing that these subjects do is they give you a combination that otherwise may not be possible for you to get in your regular everyday school. And I'll take an example of a student that's currently doing uh, cybersecurity and political science as a combination. She's studying political science in school and doing cybersecurity with us. And in a very
Mhm.
interesting anecdote, she said that she wants to do that because she wants to work with a United Nations body, because probably future conflicts in the world may be, or maybe it's not a maybe, will possibly be happening on the cyberspace, and therefore she wants to create a competency on both parts. Now, these are combinations that, yeah, I know that we can offer, and I think a lot of these young students actually overwhelm me with their clarity or their understanding and even their aspirations. Also, a lot of times students have aspirations to do something that they're unable to do. They may have abridged education. Ideally, as an organization or as an education organization, we help students with various combinations that can help them with any educational situation that they've currently found themselves in. And a lot of times we quip amongst each other that we've become a yes company. When somebody comes to us with an education problem and asks us if we can solve it, 9 out of 10 times our answer is yes. And that's what we try and do.
Incredible. So you mentioned university pathway and the importance of online education that may prepare students for it. So basically, how do online schools prepare students for university admissions?
So I think I've already said that. I'll make a short re-mention of what I've said. The idea is when you do these extra credits, it kind of takes care of the portfolio that you need to build for yourself. So, and at the same time, through our counseling methods and as well as pieces like passion projects or internship opportunities, we can create a complete portfolio for a student, so that when the best universities actually recruit students, um, and I'm saying this with all responsibility, they are actually more than marks looking for the most developed and all-rounded student. And that's the kind of portfolios we help students prepare for themselves. They have the capability. It's just about giving them these small tools that they can simultaneously employ to make sure they have an all-rounded portfolio, so that when they apply to university, uh, there are millions of students across the world applying to universities, and therefore it's an effort to find out how this specific student will stand out. And that's something that we can actually do with the digital support, because the school's already working so hard to make sure that their academics and their curricular piece is actually to the optimum level that they can reach. We are just becoming a great support system to them so that they can get into the best optimum place that they're capable of.
Okay, thank you. Since we're discussing here international world of education, it's a very popular question among students, parents, agents, everyone. Are online school diplomas recognized worldwide, and do universities really accept them for admissions?
So, online, I think this statement by itself is kind of a little jaded and a little incorrect, because there have been cases where uh, there have been credit shops and people have been offering education which basically has no background. As I said to you earlier, it's very important that if you are taking any kind of distance learning, whether it's online or otherwise, you check the credibility of where you're doing it and with who you're actually doing that. Um, as far as the credibility goes, please understand, as I said earlier, these schools that we are currently offering from our portfolio, online is just another method of sharing and actually giving knowledge to students. It's not something where we are trying to run a separate school. Our education partners that we have or the content that we are providing is not something that we are providing from our own kitty. It's something which is provided from official boards and official institutions. And therefore, to put it as simple as that, when you you become an alumnus of one of these institutions, it doesn't mention anywhere whether you're an online or an offline student. The school is ensuring that you've met the necessary guideline, you followed the necessary guidelines, and you've met the necessary requirements if you are to earn that even one credit in the case of global education. I'll mention another thing over here. Unlike how we do things in India, where during our board exams in India, you have 6, 7 subjects that you appear for, and then you get this mark sheet and your total aggregate score. In this system, you actually earn one single credit at a time. And the transcript that you actually receive, which is board certified, is one subject has one transcript. And therefore, as you collect transcripts, is how you go ahead and you earn a high school diploma. But that's how credible this entire piece is.
Okay, sounds good actually to me. And let's move to some success stories that I promised at the start. Yeah, so could you tell me some examples of students who went well through their online education and succeeded either academically or in their careers?
Oh, of course. See, a lot of our students globally, not just in India, we've had an experience of getting them into some of the best universities in the world. Thanks to their portfolios, we've been able to get them great scholarship grants and other pieces as well. Some of the unique cases that actually come to mind, and from basically the privacy point of view, no names taken, but we've had students who've had gap years, who've not been able to complete education, and we've helped them complete their high school diploma and help them get into great programs. So we've had a student who's kind of made it to a great film school. We've got students who's gone into a great computer science program this batch. We've had a student who's gone through this process and actually reached one of the top universities in Canada with a scholarship of $150,000. So there, I don't know where to start, and a lot of times these students that we have actually surprise us. It's just that some of them are just looking for the right guidance and understanding on what could really be a tailor-made solution for them. And that's where we kind of come in and try and do the best we can.
Fine. Well, it sounds like it's a combination of a nice educational institution plus some soft skills. So the question is there anyhow or any way online schools can help students develop their skills like self-discipline or time management?
Oh, of course. I think by the whole design of it, as I said earlier, this entire program is based on self-discipline. Since it's asynchronous, it teaches the student how to be on time. Um, uh, we know for sure that a lot of students, when they hit university, because the format of education is very, very different, we see them struggling in their first semester. But for our students who've gone through this format of global education, find it very convenient to kind of transcend into the university program without struggling. Because a lot of students struggle in their first semester at university not because of capability, but because of discipline. And therefore this format actually prepares them to be able to handle that kind of discipline well, to submit your assignments in time, to make sure your quizzes are done, to make sure that you've actually kept up with the course curriculum. And while you do it at your own pace, that pace has to be maintained. You can't let go, because it comes back. The other piece that it teaches you quite efficiently is to avoid plagiarism, because today, with AI and generative AI, a lot of students tend to use that. Trust me when I say this, the universities are a little bit ahead of them in terms of their research, and they're able to find out. So it actually helps them understand that plagiarism is not going to help. Uh, Finally, from a specific skill development point of view, there are lots of programs available that make you future ready. And most of them are skill programs, from something as basic as doing financial management, something as basic as understanding your own finances, understanding your own psychology, uh, to creating applications and games and creating AI tools. We've got a plethora of opportunities that the student can actually use. As I said, there's more than 200 subjects, but other than these credits, there are over and above skill and developmental programs that are also available, that they can actually employ and learn so much. I'll take the example of a credit in music over here, which kind of tells you how the curriculum is mapped out. So a lot of students who take music, it teaches them the theory of music, teaches them how music is to be handled as a producer. It teaches them how music is to be handled as an artist, and it teaches them how music can be handled as a composer. And therefore, even if a student is taking something as simple as music, they can actually decide what in music is something that they are likely to do in the future. So that's how most of these things work.
So cool that education offers such a
We
variety
hope
of
so too.
things, from programs to developing skills. And I guess after some time, when students entered online school and then adapted, they start craving for some extracurriculars. So do online schools in general offer extracurricular programs like, I don't know, sports, coding, or arts?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as I said, we've got credits in art appreciation, we've got credits in music. I already told you. We've got some very advanced tools available where students, even if they're doing core subjects, uh, they actually have virtual labs where they're learning with their peers in the best possible environment. And these courses actually help them develop more holistic skills. And as I said at the start of our conversation, Alina, we are a great complementary product. Therefore, in combination with the offline school and what the labs and the play fields can provide, we can offer a very structured and a very dedicated pathway to the student, including a lot of extracurricular activities. From us as an organization, you're aware we do a lot of speaking clubs to help proficiency in languages. So yeah, there's enough and more to offer. As I said, I don't know where to start and where to end, but the short answer is yes, lots of them available.
Thank you. So really, we can't place everything in one webinar, so I guess it's time to
No,
wrap up. Thank you so much for joining and for sharing such valuable insights and stories. It's always a pleasure to have you, Amit. And so I'd like just to show where everyone can find us and where they can send their questions in case there are any left. So guys, you can contact us by email. Please send your questions to global@educateonline.org. Visit our website and leave your comments, ideas, or questions below the post. And we hope you find this webinar inspiring and informative. And have a great day. Hope to see you quite soon in another webinar.
Good.
And
Thanks,
thank you.
Angelina. Thank you for all the
Thank you.
questions. I think they were quite appropriate. And thank you for all those who are listening. You're welcome to reach out to us. We'd be happy to have a chat with you and see how we can actually customize something for your children, or if there are students listening, we can help you adapt to the global environment. So you're much better prepared when you hit the big bad world.
Definitely. Okay. So see
All
you.
right. See you, Angelina. You take care, and I'll catch you soon.
Bye.
Bye.